Have you ever noticed something strange? Someone lied to you, ignored you, broke your trust, or walked away without looking back. You promised yourself you were done. You told yourself you'd never think about them again. Yet weeks later, maybe even months later, you suddenly miss them. Not because they treated you well, but because your mind keeps pulling you back toward someone who caused you pain. Feels confusing. Why would your brain crave the very person who hurt you? Does it mean you still love them? Does it mean you made the wrong decision? Or is there something much deeper happening inside your mind? Surprisingly, psychology suggests that missing someone who hurt you is often less about the person and more about the way your brain processes attachment, reward, memory, and emotional survival. The human brain wasn't designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you connected. For most of human history, being separated from your group could mean death. Survival depended on relationships. Because of that, your brain evolved to treat emotional bonds as incredibly valuable. Once someone becomes part of your daily life, your brain begins building thousands of neural connections around them. Their voice, their smile, their habits, their messages, even the places you visited together become linked inside your memory. Over time, that person becomes part of your brain's normal routine. Then one day they're gone. Logically, you know they hurt you, but your brain isn't reacting to logic first. It's reacting to loss. Imagine waking up every morning and drinking coffee. After years, your brain expects that coffee every single day. Suddenly you stop. Your body doesn't immediately celebrate making a healthy decision. Craves what disappeared. Relationships work in a surprisingly similar way. The craving isn't always for the person. Often it's for the routine your brain built around them. This is why the first weeks after heartbreak often feel physically painful. Studies have shown that social rejection activates many of the same brain regions involved in physical pain. Your brain literally treats emotional loss as a threat to survival. But that's only the beginning. One of the strongest reasons you miss someone who hurt you is something psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. Imagine a slot machine. You don't win every time. Most of the time you lose. But occasionally you hit the jackpot. Ironically, rewards that arrive unpredictably create stronger habits than rewards that happen consistently. Relationships can work the same way. Maybe they ignored you for days but suddenly became incredibly affectionate. Maybe they disappointed you repeatedly but every once in a while gave you exactly the love you wanted. Your brain never knew when the next good moment would arrive. That unpredictability actually strengthened the emotional attachment. Dopamine, one of the brain's major motivation chemicals, responds powerfully to unpredictable rewards. Instead of creating stable love, it creates constant anticipation. Your brain keeps thinking, maybe next time they'll change. Maybe tomorrow will be different. Even after the relationship ends, that anticipation doesn't disappear overnight. Your brain keeps waiting for another emotional reward that may never come. This is one reason toxic relationships can become surprisingly difficult to leave. It's not because the pain feels good. It's because unpredictable affection trains the brain to keep hoping. Another powerful reason involves unfinished emotional stories. Human brains dislike incomplete endings. Psychologists sometimes compare this to leaving a sentence unfinished. Your mind naturally wants to finish it. If someone suddenly disappears without explanation, leaves you with unanswered questions, or ends the relationship while you're still emotionally invested, your brain keeps searching for closure. You replay conversations. You imagine different endings. You think about what you could have said differently. Not because you're weak, but because your brain hates unresolved patterns. This is called the Zeigarnik Effect, the tendency to remember unfinished experiences better than completed ones. The relationship may be over in reality, but inside your mind, the story still feels unfinished. Then there's nostalgia, one of the brain's greatest illusions. When people think about painful relationships later, the brain rarely replays every painful moment equally. Instead, memory often highlights emotional peaks and meaningful moments while gradually softening repetitive pain. You remember the vacations, the laughter, the late-night conversations, the hugs, and the feeling of being wanted. Meanwhile, the arguments, disrespect, manipulation, and loneliness become less emotionally vivid over time. This doesn't mean the relationship was healthy. It means memory isn't a perfect recording. It's a storyteller. Your brain edits the past to create a simpler emotional narrative. That's why people sometimes miss relationships they would never actually want to live through again. Another reason is identity. Healthy relationships slowly become part of how we define ourselves. Maybe you weren't just yourself anymore. You became someone's partner, someone's best friend, someone's future. When that relationship disappears, part of your identity disappears with it. Suddenly, you're not only grieving the person, you're grieving the version of yourself that existed with them. The future you imagined together also disappears. You're mourning possibilities that never even happened. This is why breakups often feel like losing two people at once. The person who left and the person you thought you were becoming. Attachment styles also play a huge role. People with anxious attachment often experience stronger emotional cravings after rejection because uncertainty activates their attachment system even more. The less available someone becomes, the more urgently the brain wants reconnection. Ironically, rejection itself increases emotional focus. It's similar to how you suddenly value something more after losing it. The brain confuses emotional intensity with emotional importance. Just because someone occupies your thoughts doesn't necessarily mean they belong in your life. Sometimes they occupy your thoughts because your nervous system hasn't finished processing the loss. There's also the comfort of familiarity. Human brains naturally prefer familiar pain over unfamiliar uncertainty. An unhealthy relationship may have been stressful, but at least your brain understood the rules. Life after the relationship is unknown. Unknown situations require more mental energy. So your brain sometimes romanticizes the familiar simply because certainty feels safer than uncertainty. This explains why people sometimes return to relationships they know are unhealthy. They're choosing predictability, not happiness. Modern neuroscience also shows that love activates many of the same reward circuits involved in addiction. During a relationship, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and other chemicals that strengthen emotional bonds. When the relationship suddenly ends, those chemical patterns change dramatically. Your brain temporarily experiences something similar to withdrawal. That's why people often feel restless, emotionally numb, or constantly tempted to check old messages or social media. The craving isn't proof that you belong together. It's often your brain adjusting to the absence of a familiar reward. Over time, something remarkable happens. Every day you resist reaching out, every new experience you create, every healthy relationship you build, your brain slowly rewires itself. New routines replace old ones. New memories weaken old associations. The person who once occupied your every thought gradually becomes one memory among thousands. Healing isn't forgetting. It's teaching your brain that safety, happiness, and connection can exist without the person who caused your pain. Perhaps the most important lesson is this. Missing someone isn't the same as needing them. Your emotions can be completely real while your conclusions are completely wrong. You can genuinely miss someone and still recognize they were unhealthy for you. Those two truths can exist together. Your brain is simply doing what evolution designed it to do, holding on to attachment, searching for closure, craving familiar rewards, and resisting sudden change. But your conscious mind has something your ancient brain doesn't, the ability to choose. Every time you choose peace over chaos, self-respect over temporary comfort, and reality over nostalgia, you strengthen new neural pathways. Eventually, the person who once felt impossible to let go of becomes proof of how adaptable the human brain truly is. So if you suddenly miss someone who hurt you, don't immediately assume it's a sign you should go back. Sometimes it's simply a sign that your brain is healing from a bond it once believed it needed to survive. And healing doesn't happen because the memories disappear. Healing happens because one day those memories stop controlling the choices you make.